30 acres wasn't put in with GPS because we didn't have GPS. This is 15 years old. And you can see that drip pattern. And Carlos, my farm manager, who you met, when he left for Guatemala to go see his family, that's where he's from, over Christmas, he told me, he said, I wouldn't plant in these fields because they're gone. You know, the drip tape is worn out, it's plugged up. And I said, well, Carlos, how do we know? I said, let me take the plastic off. So I tore the plastic off. I went in there and put a very heavy shot of chlorine at about 300 parts per million, and brought the pH down to 5 with sulfuric acid. And then came in and flushed the tape, jumped the pressure to 30 pounds in this NetFM tape, and put a surfactant in. And we brought the tape back to 90% of its performance. Wow. And then you can see that when you're able to germinate a two line stand with a tape that's that old, that tells you something. You know, and my farm manager didn't want me to do it, but we went ahead and did it anyway, and we brought the tape back. So you know, you can bring this tape back from the dead. You just got to have what you do when you increase that pressure. It expands that emitter, the plastic that's on top, and it opens it up. You put a surfactant in there, it makes the emitter wetter, the water wetter, and so you scrub the emitters, what you end up doing. You can clean the emitters back out. So it's amazing how long you can keep this tape going. It's amazing. You know what I mean?
Top's moving right along.
Oh, it looks great. Doesn't that look beautiful?
Yeah, just really good. Really
yeah,
good.
you seen that was planted just a few weeks ago.
Wow.
I mean, it's blowing. And let me just show you a few pictures real quick. This is an old book that I was carrying, and it kind of goes over some of the early experiments that we did with the AgriGrow. This is an early experiment done in like the year 2000, and this is on melons. And what we did is we went in on the side of the plastic and dug a hole with a post hole digger. And then we just stretched the plastic over the hole, and we'd come back and we'd start looking at the roots. And so this was the untreated. This is the bottom, 3 feet down. This is the bottom, 3 feet down. Here's the roots in the side of that bed. And this is what we see with AgriGrow on every crop just about, is that we'll see a tremendous amount of what I call tertiary or secondary root systems. And I've seen the same thing with onions in Georgia, same damn thing. It's amazing. You know, when I usually get roots on onions in Georgia, it was just like a broom, straight roots. We went in and started using AgriGrow on those onions, spraying it over the top. Yeah. You know what I mean? And those damn onions, they had roots that were just, it was like a jungle. You know what I mean? My farm managers over there couldn't believe it. And we dramatically changed the quality of our onions over there because we didn't have to irrigate nearly as much because we had a much bigger root system, you know, a much stronger root system. And it was a heck of a deal.
These are Vidalias?
These are Vidalias. The biggest grower over there, my farm manager that I trained, went to work for him, and they're growing thousands of acres of onions over there, and they're on the AgriGrow. They wouldn't use it. They wouldn't grow a crop without it. This is just some of the cantaloupe work that we did, kind of comparing the differences in maturity and stuff like that. And again, we get about a 12% yield increase. We get a little bit difference in quality. This is treated. This is treated, untreated, a little bit better netting. Let me see. I've got some other pictures in here. Let me see. This is the garbanzo bean work that we did. These are some of the early shots. And in the beginning, we try a seed treatment with one row, and then this row without it. You know what I mean? And when we started seeing stuff like that, we're going, holy moly, what's going on here? You know what I mean? Here's the early stages, and you can see you get that jump, you know, with that AgriGrow treatment. And this isn't the foliar blend. This is AgriGrow. Okay, and then these are like shots later in the season. You can see the untreated versus the AgriGrow plot. This is another shots of the same thing. Big differences in the root systems.
Hold that page there.
Oh yeah, here you go. And then here's some other pictures where you'll be able to see when the plants get bigger. It follows the crop all the way through. It's pretty amazing. But as you look here closely, you'll see that this is much thicker. In other words, you know, you're getting total germination. And that's what I love about the product. You know what I mean? When I'm paying you 70 cents a pound, and I'm planting 100 pounds, I don't want to lose 30%. No. You know, that puts a big hole in my pocket. Yeah. You know what I mean? And if we're going to get the 3,000 pound yield that I want to get, everything's got to be it's got to look like that. Everything's got to be right. Yeah. You know what I mean? You can't have two plants per foot and all this other business. You know what I mean? Yep. You got to have the right stand.
Very good. Take a picture with your finger over it.
Not yet.
Now here's another shot, just showing you. Look at the nodulation difference here. Okay, here's AgriGrow. Here's AgriGrow with algae. Okay, and then here's the untreated control. Look at the difference.
That's a weak sister.
Isn't that amazing?
Very, very much so.
Big difference. So that's why, you know, we love the technology. I mean, it's a very exciting technology for us. And here's some onion work that I did. Okay, and you can see, here's the, if you look close, this would be the treated, this would be the untreated, treated, untreated, treated. If we look at the plants closely, you know, we get definitely a jump in the size of the plants. You know, bigger roots. This is the treated, untreated, treated, untreated, treated, untreated. You know, I did a lot of work with onions with this product too.
You weren't using any of that as a seed treatment, though. You really can't.
We were putting it on as a drench.
As a drench.
When I go in and I do transplants, because I do transplant watermelons.
Yeah.
Okay, man, peppers, tomatoes, same thing. You go in with a 2% solution, 2 ounces in a gallon.
Yeah.
You know, is about what we use, 2 to 3 ounces of that agro.
And you drench treat the seed.
And what we would do is we just take the flats, soak them.
So it's like essentially dipping.
It's dipping. Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yeah,
and I mean, the response is tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. And this is how we would do the onions. You know, thousands of acres like that. I mean, it's a no-brainer.
What do you think of the, what about bud set, flower retention, that type of stuff? What do you see?
I don't know if we see a big difference with that. I'll be honest with you. We see a bigger root system, a stronger root system. You know what I mean, as far as root, flower retention.
And that's where it all starts.
Yeah. I have